I left school at 16 and decided to become a chef. So I got my GCSEs and then I went straight into working at a hotel in the lowest possible rank in the kitchen, which was a great experience, a bit of a shock going from school, but I think it was really good for me to go straight into the kitchen as opposed to going to college first. With being a chef, I think it's really important to learn on the job. You learn different things on the job than you do in college. For me, it made me a more rounded chef. So after going to work in these hotels, I went on to work in restaurants, Michelin star restaurants. That's my real passion. I love fine dining food. And after that, decided that I would go back to college to learn more about pastry skills because that's what I wanted to specialize in. So I went to Le Cordon Bleu in London. It's well renowned and that's what really appealed to me. And I learned a lot of classic techniques there, which you wouldn't necessarily learn on the job. Depending which restaurant you work in, it's mainly a lot of modern skills and kind of how to work cleanly, how to organize yourself and that sort of thing. But at college, I learned about sugar work and chocolate work and kind of, all the classic techniques, which then led me on to going on Bake Off the Professionals on television, which I wouldn't have been able to do without those skills. And now from there, after working in restaurants and doing that, I'm able to own my own business where I sell chocolate bars and with my partner who does cocktails. And we've got a few pop-ups coming around. So we've got plated desserts paired with cocktails. And that's me. I think what's really helped me in my profession is, like I said, going straight from school to the industry. I think it's really important to get some GCSEs behind you and maybe even A-levels, because now looking back, I'm more able to own my own business, having got some academic grades behind me. But I think what's really made me is the experience I got in the Michelin star kitchens. They are really, really tough. They're not for the faint-hearted, but my love is the fine dining food. And I learned so many different techniques there, lots of flavor combinations, and it really teaches you about creativity and how to produce something excellent. And those skills are something that will now stay with me and make me able to do what I do now. I've basically always wanted to be a chef. I always loved cooking at a young age. I loved baking cakes. I used to bake them for all my friends and family. And then when I was 13, I had an accident which left me with chronic fatigue. So I was really tired all the time. I had to do part-time school because I couldn't sit in the classroom full time. And I think that really sparked something in me. I thought, I might not be able to go on to do A-levels and do university like most of my friends. And I started to think, what do I really want to do? Like, what do I see myself doing in the future? And I thought, I've always loved cooking. So why don't we try that? And I looked at all these different courses. I spoke to lots of people trying to figure out the best route to do it. And when I was in year 10, when everyone did work experience, I looked for a kitchen to do my work experience in and did that and loved it. And then from there, I was like, this is definitely the profession for me. It's hard to think about the best advice I've ever been given because I've been given a lot because I haven't been on the most conventional route after education. So before I even became a chef, another chef told me, don't become a chef. And maybe I should have listened, but I persevered and it turned out to be the right thing to do. So as cliche as it is, I would say follow your dream is the best advice I've ever been given. You're never going to be happy if you're doing something that you feel like you should do or you don't want to, but it's expected. I think you really have to do something for you It takes a lot of guts, but in the end, it will all be worth it. When I first became a chef, there were a lot of challenges and not as many rewards, unfortunately. The industry is really tough. It's male-dominated, so it's hard to go in there as a woman, especially as a young woman. You can be perceived as weak or not as good as the men, but that's something you have to try and fight through and overcome. It takes a strong personality, but if you learn skills along the way, that will be enough to get you through. And if you can hold your own in the kitchen, I think that's a very important thing to be able to do. And it's long hours. There were weeks where I would work, I don't even want to tell you how many hours, and it's not great pay, but the reward you get out of that is being able to express your creativity and create amazing food. Everyone's got to eat, and a lot of people enjoy exceptional food. And being able to give that to someone and put a smile on their face is something so rewarding. Like, after a long day's work, that satisfaction makes it worth it. I would say for anyone who wants to go into this sector, I would say don't get stuck in a college course for 2 or 3 years doing culinary arts, because you're going to learn a lot more on the job than you do at college. I think it's good to have some college experience behind you, especially if you want to go into classic cooking, but I think try to avoid being tied down to a college course. I would also say, if the job doesn't feel right, leave. You will get tired, burnt, cut, and none of that is worth it if you're not happy. And so there are so many different jobs in the hospitality industry. You don't have to work in Michelin star kitchens. You don't have to work in a hotel. You don't have to do private dining. You can do whichever one suits you. There'll be kitchens with large teams and small teams, and it really depends what feels good. And I think that's something I've learned throughout my career, which I kind of wish I had realized earlier, that there are so many jobs out there. We're lucky as chefs that we will always be needed, because robots can't do our job and everyone's got to eat. So there's always going to be a job for you. It just depends which route you want to go down. And so I think my advice is to explore the industry and make sure you're doing okay.